What's up, everyone? It's Ollie here with another review of Canada's Drag Race episode 4. I totally thought this was Snatch Game, so I was a little disappointed. This episode, right off the bat, I'm just gonna say it's not gonna be that exciting of a review because I didn't really enjoy it as much. Of course, I enjoy the show, but I think there's always an episode in a season of Drag Race where you just don't really, it's just meh. So this episode was kind of the meh episode for me. Lo and behold, the girls find out that Starzy didn't leave a message on the mirror, which is surprising, and I think this might be a Drag Race first. I can't really recall, at least to my knowledge, at the top of my head, when a queen didn't leave a message. Maybe she just didn't remember to do one. Maybe she forgot one. Maybe she... I don't know. What do you think of that? Was that shady? Was it a little... I don't know. The girls definitely took it as shady, that's for sure. So the mini challenge was kind of like that notorious pit crew challenge where you have to match up the underwears, which I really enjoyed this week in particular because let me just say this, I'm saying this right now, Canada's pit crew is probably the best pit crew we've ever seen. Sorry UK, sorry America. In terms of diversity, Canada's pit crew is on point. We got different races, ethnicities, body types, like all of those men. You know, it sucks in quarantine because you're feeling a very variety of emotions and hormones, bottled up. So seeing this pit crew being as gorgeous as they were, whew, I was feeling a lot of things, y'all. Jimbo ends up winning the challenge, and this week the queens have to pair up into 3 different houses to kind of come up with fashion looks, a collection, as you will. Using recycled materials, paper, plastic, and metal. And Jimbo, since winning the mini challenge, Jimbo gets to delve up who gets what. Jimbo picks paper due to the fact that it's easy to cut. Jimbo, to me, just comes off as a very, since crafty is like a really bad term to use, just resourceful. That's the word I'm looking for. Jimbo, it seems to me, seems like Jimbo's able to work with a variety of different materials, and paper was the one that it chose. The only thing with paper, I feel like the downside is that it can tear so easily. Yeah, it's easy to cut, but it can tear so easily. So it's Jimbo, Ilana, and Tynomi working with paper this week. Meanwhile, we got Scarlett, Rita, and Kiara. They're working with plastic. Which to me, that seems probably like the best material because it's not going to break. You could like melt it. You could do cool things with plastic. There's just different types of plastic. So I think it's just a very versatile material. And we love things that are versatile. And last but not least, metal goes to Priyanka, Boa, and Lemon. And to me, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be the hardest material to work with. But despite being the hardest, it's going to look the most editorial and fashion related because it's like silver. It's like metal. Yes, work, So, it's fierce. Like metal and silver and chrome stuff is fierce. So I think they all had kind of like pros and cons to the materials that they were working with. This week, Stacey McKenzie, runway queen diva, gets to help coach the girls. And I love this because it's such a throwback to Top Model. I think of Miss J working with the girls on America's Next Top Model, and also Stacey McKenzie, who was also kind of took over that role on the last 2 cycles of America's Next Top Model, which was when I was introduced to Stacey McKenzie. And I'll just never forget that story of Stacey McKenzie, how I think it was a designer telling her how ugly she looked and that she wouldn't make it in the world of modeling. And look where she is now. That dude was just a hater. He was completely wrong. And I just think she's amazing. She's beautiful. She's tall. She works it on the runway. And she told that fool, whoever it was, he's irrelevant. Completely irrelevant because I don't even know his name. But shout out to Stacey McKenzie. She's my favorite judge on the panel for sure. Lana and Tynomi talk about kind of like their time growing up with their straight allies. A lot of women who were there for us. And I think a lot of queer people, such as myself, can relate to this sentiment of having so many amazing women in our lives that really uplifted us and helped kind of maybe mold us into who we are today, whether that be like family members or friends at school, really helping you come into your femininity side or accepting the femininity and not being afraid of the queerness that's inside of you. So I love their moment. Also, very sad, touching moment was learning about Jeanette Bobo from Scarlett Bobo and how Jeanette recently passed away and how Bobo is kind of like a house mother. And it really just goes to show that there's such a huge family within the drag world. It could be shady, queens can be catty here and there, but there is still such a strong family element in drag. And I think that just goes to show that, you know, LGBTQIA plus people, we have the power to also choose our families. It's not all tied to biological, whoever you're related to biologically. So this week's guest judge was Bedell, extraordinary designer, and I'm sure that's great and everything, and that he's super talented, but me being the stupid American, I don't know who he is, but he was still great. I still love the guest judges, and I'm so excited for Allie X. I don't know when she's coming, but when I remember I met her, I was like, Allie, when are you going to be on Drag Race as a guest judge? And I was thinking, oh, she'll be on America's Drag Race. No, she's going to be on Canada's Drag Race, but I'm just as excited as, like, it's... When is that episode? I need Allie X on Drag Race ASAP. It's kind of difficult judging the looks this week because it's like you kind of have to judge them as a whole. And are they telling a story? Are they cohesive? So I'm not really going to judge them individual. And also, I don't think anyone looked terrible this week. Like, absolutely terrible. So starting with the plastics, Scarlett, Rita, and Kiara, I completely agree that they won. I think they did a great collection. We had Scarlett wearing like a short dress, kind of cocktail dress with all the plastic. It looked like it was like burning metal. I think that was what they were going for. And then Kiara had the long dress, and whereas Rita just kind of just looked like the house mother, you know? They were all very cohesive, looked like they were in the same collection. Absolutely, I completely agree. It didn't look like plastic from far away. I agree that they deserve to win, in my personal opinion. Then moving on to the Metal House, Boa, Priyanka, Lemon. Oh, it's so difficult because a part of me wants to like boot them automatically because of Lemon's look. It's like, okay, we got Boa and Priyanka wearing like silver, but then we have like the copper look for Lemon. Yet I like the copper look, but at the same time, it didn't look cohesive. And I think the main thing in this particular challenge was it needs to look cohesive. I think I was just a little disappointed with the other two looks from Boa and Priyanka. Like, I love that they had like the umbrella for Priyanka, and then Boa, I loved her like breast piece thing and how she opened it up and whatnot. But I think I just wanted a little bit more. You know, like you probably have all these like cool metal pieces. Just have like a bangle or something, like something to really elevate it even more. And I know they were going for more editorial looks, but I think, I don't know, the other two houses, I keep calling them houses, the other two collections just had a lot, you know, a lot of interesting things. And I thought that Boa and Priyanka could have added a little bit more, just a little bit more stuff to really elevate it. And also maybe have the same color scheme. And last but not least, we have the paper collection, which was Ilona, Tainomi, and Jimbo. And what their storyline was kind of like having two knights and a queen, which Jimbo was the queen. And already they kind of had some heat a little bit, some tension, because Jimbo really wanted to do this big, extravagant, giant queen attire in a gown, whereas Tainomi and Ilona wanted to do more of like something that wasn't as extravagant with the paper. You have to go give it to Jimbo though. Like, even though it was a little bit messy in the face and the wig was very flat, just the look. How long did you think that took her? That probably took her forever, especially working with paper. Like, she really went all out. And it's kind of hard to judge. Oh my, whew. Why am I always burping up in these things? Do you read Jimbo for wanting to stand out and really take it there with a look and not really listen to the other two? Or do you read the other two for not trying to take a risk and stand out along with Jimbo and have kind of like collectively cohesive silhouettes? Also, keep in mind, Tainomi and Ilona have both been in the bottom thus far, whereas Jimbo's kind of either been safer in the top. So, you know, who do you listen to? Despite everything, I did like the knight and the queen concept. Like, that was telling a story, you know, maybe didn't look the same in the silhouettes, but at least it had a strong concept, you know what I'm saying? I kind of get the frustration from some of the queens and how they really want to show the looks that they actually spent money on and had designers or made it themselves, rather than doing these unconventional challenges out of unconventional materials, because we just had one in the first episode. So usually you only get one a season, typically. So it is, I can see why some of them are frustrated, but at the same time, girl, you just have to suck it up and do your damnedest. And then this led to Alana versus Jimbo up in the Untucked segment. I was like, whoa. Whew. Alana was going in. She was frustrated. She was mad. She was going off on everyone. She was telling Jimbo to shut up. But then Jimbo was not going to sit there and take it. No, Jimbo's the queen. Bitch, you're just a knight. Sit your ass down. Jimbo kind of shut her down. Alana was just going off. But at the same time, Alana, you really haven't done a whole lot in this competition performance-wise. You have an amazing look so far. But, girl, you need to step it up and take it to the next level. Let me tell you, I was Team Jimbo 100%. Okay? Ends up being Alana versus Tainomi in the bottom. And it's a fun lip sync. It's genuinely like a great lip sync. They're going in. It's probably difficult to, kind of move around in the paper. You're probably going to like rip if you go too hard. But they're having fun. It's so difficult because Tainomi, she's just constantly been in the bottom since like episode 1. Well, maybe she was alright in episode 1, but I was really hoping for Tainomi to not be in the bottom this week. But at the same time, if you're in the bottom for the third time, unless you're like Cameron Michaels or Coco Montrese, you're probably not going to be surviving. And Tainomi was sashaying away this episode. So that was the episode. Let me know what you guys thought. Like I said, it was a meh for me. It wasn't bad, but definitely a meh. I'm at the point where I don't want to see any of these queens going home because I'm definitely getting attached to them week after week watching Canada's Drag Race. But let me know what you thought. Who do you think is going home? Who do you think is going to be in the top? Your thoughts, anything I may have missed. Really appreciate it. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow me on all social media platforms at Ollie Dreamer. I will see you next week for another episode, Snatch Game, of Canada's Drag Race. Bye, guys.